Hey everybody, welcome back. I just did a workshop and I want to address a facilitator conundrum with you. I want to address an issue that I see out there, and maybe you have too, or maybe you've experienced this. And that is what I call the trap of conducting, the conducting trap. Or we could call it the conduction conundrum. And if you facilitate group drumming or for group anything, group music making, or if you lead any kind of group music making, you know that there's a mode that we can get in where we're communicating to group members specific things for them to do, right? Now, I'll use the idea of a group drumming setting, right? Let's say we've got 12 people playing drums, and so I decide, okay, well, you three people over here, you're gonna play this, right? You're gonna play boom, ba, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, ba, boom. Now, get that going, and now over here, you three people are gonna play boom, 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 whatever. And I go around, I start getting this like 4-ring circus going, and we call that handing out parts, right? We're dictating what people in the group should play. Now, theoretically, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I've done that. We do it. It happens. The issue with that, the conundrum part of it, is that as soon as you start dictating parts, you've got to decide how important is it to you that everybody gets it and is executing that part perfectly. Then you've also got to consider, what are the other people doing while you're working on getting these people over here to play something very specific? Because they're waiting, right? They're sitting around going, all right, I'm just waiting now. I want to be playing, but now I'm waiting. Also, you've got to really plan this stuff out if you want to do it efficiently and quickly, because it can just be a mess, right? If you're not really clear on what it is you want to have people do, and where you are in your own process. So you have to be clear on like who are the groups, what are they going to play. You really want to be prepared for that, because if you're not ready, they don't know what you want them to do. So you've got to be super clear, super precise with your instructions and be efficient. Because I think we owe it to our people to not confuse them. Also, you've got to remember that any kind of conducting, any kind of passing out of specific parts is a command. It's not like you're asking people, what do you want to play, or what can you contribute, or what do you feel like doing, right? So if it's really improv, or you want to see what people can do, pushing parts onto them, while it can be fun and beneficial, I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but you have to consider the implication there of what the relationship between you and them is. It's going to be pretty explicit in that moment that you are their boss, right? You are their leader. They are following you. So the question I always want to ask myself, and I would ask anybody, any facilitator that's engaging a group in that modality, is that the relationship that you want to have? Is that the relationship that you want them to feel from you? If you call yourself a facilitator, to me, leading, conducting, dictating is not facilitating. To me, facilitating is maybe I put down a simple beat and then I ask people to improvise, and then I say, when you got something that you feel is really cool to share, raise your hand, and then we're going to learn your part, right? Or we're going to follow you. Or I just say, we're going to start jamming. Once we get going, pick somebody to follow in the group, and then the group figures it out themselves, right? There's lots of different ways you can empower your participants to be creative, to take ownership, to work with each other while you are not getting in the way and dictating, all right? So I've seen this conundrum a lot. I've seen, large drum circles, small groups, big groups. And I wanted to bring it up today because I think it's something that you want to be aware of and possibly avoid getting into that trap. I'm going to call it a trap right now. I try to stay away from that as much as possible. Unless I'm doing something like a round or a canon that I can teach to everybody, and then we just do it in a round, right? That I think is a nice way to, if you're going to divide up into groups and you want to have the effect of multiple parts, do a round or a canon, like a canonical rhythm or a nice melody in a round. That's a quick way to get into a beautiful, multi-part feeling creation with the group that doesn't involve a lot of dictating and people waiting and people like not understanding what you're trying to do. So that's all. I just wanted to bring that up. I think if the other reason is if you start getting a little confused as a facilitator, and I'm just saying this as a participant right now, right? If I'm in a group and I see somebody trying to create this 3 or 4 ring circus, right? You do this, you guys do this, you guys do this, you guys do this. If it starts to not work out really well for them, if I see them getting a little confused, it just raises my anxiety, right? As a participant, I don't want to see, you don't want to see the captain of the ship like, okay, what direction are we going? My compass doesn't seem to be. I don't know that nobody wants to see that. So, if for no other reason, just don't do it for that reason. Just it's not necessary. If you want people to learn specific things, then I would just teach everything to the whole group, have everybody do it together, and then say, okay, pick a part you want to do. You just learned 3 parts. Pick one that you want to play. Let's go. Something like that. So that people are involved and they're reinforcing each other and they're not waiting around, and then they get to choose, right? Because the problem with giving people the problem with sectioning off a group, let's say in a circle, and having everybody do the same thing is that some people might not be able to do it so well and they're stressed out. Other people, it's fine. But then some people are like, well, this is kind of simple. I'm getting bored now. Because also, remember, the first group, you get going. By the time you get to the third group, the first group is bored out of their minds already. They've been doing it a long time. And then you're starting to teach another group and they're like, when do we get to stop this? All right, so you've got the Goldilocks effect over there. Too difficult, just right, not interesting enough, so you can have that happen, and then just a lot of waiting, and I recommend some other ways of doing that, and I do teach other ways to get to the same kind of feeling and to get the good vibes up that I think we're all trying to create in the group. All right, what do you think? Leave your kind and helpful comments below. This is World Drum Club. I'm Kalani, and this is another installment of Facilitation Fridays. Thanks for watching.